In this problem, we're asked to find the height of Lincoln's face at Mount Rushmore. The way this was done is that two observations were made. So if this is the caricature of Lincoln, then two observations were made at a distance of 800 feet. So out here, 800 feet away. We look up, and to the bottom of Lincoln's face, it's a 30-degree angle. So this is 30 degrees. And to the top of Lincoln's face, it was 35 degrees. And we're asked to find what's the height of Lincoln's face. So what's the distance here? So let's call that x. Well, in order to figure out what x is, we need to use the fact that we have two right triangles here. We drop this down, we have two right triangles. The smaller right triangle has an angle of 30 degrees, and we know the side adjacent to that 30 degrees is 800 feet, but we don't know the side opposite to that angle, and so let's give that a name. Let's call that y. So we'll call this distance y. And then we have another triangle, which the angle here is 35 degrees. This distance is still 800, and the total length of the opposite side is x plus y. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the first triangle that we drew to find what y is, and then once we know what y is, we'll be able to find an equation that allows us to solve for x. So let's start with that first triangle. Here, because we know the side opposite to the angle and the side adjacent to the angle, we're going to use the tangent relationship. So triangle 1 implies that the tangent of 30 degrees is equal to opposite side over adjacent side. And so that tells us that y is equal to, multiplying both sides by 800, the tangent of 30 degrees. Now, tangent of 30 degrees we can reduce because that is equal to the sine of 30 degrees divided by the cosine of 30 degrees. And if we think of a unit circle, 30 degrees is the smaller angle here. This point has coordinates radical 3 over 2, 1/2, which means that the sine of 30 degrees is the y coordinate, so a half divided by the cosine, or radical 3 over 2, the x coordinate. 2's cancel, and so we get that y is 800 divided by radical 3. And now we know what y is, we can find x, because in our second triangle, again, we know the side opposite to 35 degrees, the side adjacent, so we know that tangent of 35 degrees is opposite, x plus y, over the adjacent. And so this means that 800 tangent of 35 degrees is x plus y. If we solve this for x, remember x is the height of Lincoln's face, that's what we want to find. Subtract y from both sides, we get x equals 800 tangent of 35 degrees minus y. And tangent of 35 degrees is not something we can easily figure out, so we're just going to leave it as the tangent of 35 degrees. And the last step here is to replace what we know y is equal to, so minus 800 divided by radical 3, and then to put the unit. So I believe everything's measured in feet.